Okay, welcome back.
It's me. I'm here.
So, for those of you that don't know, this is Vincent Belanger, and you actually have no idea how it's surreal it is to be sitting across from Vincent Belanger. Now, if you don't know Vincent Belanger, the story goes back to when I first started my hi-fi hobby. I played your track called Rupture, and this was a track that I would fall asleep to, not because it was boring,
I
because
understand why.
yeah. So I'll come back from like a hard day at work, right? Like I don't know, 8 p.m. after traffic in Toronto, and then I will turn on my system. And at the time, I had a lot of vintage stuff like vintage JBLs and tannoys, and I loved string instruments. I still do, as a lot of you guys know.
Bah oui.
But I would play Rupture in these systems every week after work and just indulge myself in the music. And this was before I even knew you were in Canada. And then fast forward, you had a concert.
You thought where I was supposed to be?
I thought you were in like Europe or something.
okay.
You know, I don't think you really think about those things sometimes. Like when you play music, right? Like I have a lot of like tracks I love, artists I love, but I don't really look at where they live. Like I think that's a little bit like
No, but it's okay.
but
It's nice if you said, I thought you were, I don't know, let's say a Russian guy or whatever. Maybe. That would
I
surprised me. But Europe, it's okay.
I don't think you're Russian, but
Uh,
do you have some Russian in you?
no.
Okay. I don't know what the point of that was.
No, it's entertainment, I think. No?
Yeah.
It makes me laugh, but it's okay. Just move on.
But yeah, no, the fast forward, like I heard that you had a concert from a connection I had at the time, and
Right.
I was playing your track at the store I was working at, Audio Excellence,
Right.
and one of the colleagues that I knew at the time, a distributor, was like, "Oh, you like Vincent?" I said, "Yeah, I play his track all the time. It's like one of my demo tracks and still is, right? If you look at my first page of my CD collection I showed you before,
Right.
it's all your music, right?" And so,
It's a big honor, by the way.
well, it's actually a big honor for me because, and then fast forward, this guy goes like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I'll introduce you to Vincent." I'm like, "Oh, he's in Canada? When is he in Canada until?" And she was like, "What do you mean? He's a Canadian musician." I'm like, so I asked for the introduction. I went to your concert. I went to the backstage where I met you for the first time. And I always imagined you, maybe because it's a stigma for classical musicians, maybe. I always think of this like uptight, proper, like not in a bad way, but like professional. Not that you're not professional, but then you were like such a down to earth guy, and you've been on my channel before, and you were just like so easy to bond with, right? And so I loved your music. I loved you as a person, and then so here we are,
Right.
and I heard that you're coming up with a non-profit organization.
Exactly.
So I wanted to know more about that, right? But the real reason I was like really excited for this podcast is because you are saying that you're going to be remaking Rupture,
That's it.
which is literally like one of my favorite tracks of all time. So I'm curious as to what you mean by remaking it, right? And what this nonprofit organization is about.
The non-profit organization, the name is Vincent Belanger Music and Production, for letters. And it's what I want to do. It's because since, let's say, since I work with Audio, I try to connect people with people, for example. The composer with, for example, I think we can say Lily. We can talk Lily. She was very important at that time. And so I introduced Lily, a lot of musician, and for me it is important for the audio.
And just to be clear, sorry
Wait.
for cutting you off, but for those watching, Lily is the person that introduced me to Vincent at the
Exactly.
backstage. Yep.
Exactly. So we did with Anne Bisson Conversations. It's a fantastic album. I'm very proud of it. And it's, in these conversations, I put 3 of my compositions. The first one is Comme Tango. The second one is Chun Tian. I don't know how to say that. It's a Chinese song because I had a lot of friends, Chinese friends in Montreal. I introduced Lily to a lot of Chinese people in Montreal. This is what I like to do, to introduce people with each other with this, I hope, with common goal, bring more heart to people. This is what is very important for me. Of course, artists sometimes we need money, but more than money, we need team. We need someone to make sure that we take the artist and you can work to make him more valuable, I would say, because I hope that musicians won't be paid the minimum salary for the rest of their lives,
Because, like, from my understanding, one of the reasons that you started this whole nonprofit organization thing was because you were feeling that classical musicians, in particular, were being underpaid, right?
Exactly. I won't name the producers, but the last phone call I had with my producer, and it's a business vision. It's not. It's
right.
not
It's
about,
nothing against them.
No,
they're trying to do
exactly.
their thing.
So, but they told me, Vincent, without money, there's no concert.
Mm-hmm.
I say, fuck no. It's, without musicians, there's no concert.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I know there's a lot of people who thinks like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's blah, 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 blah. Yes, if you're not happy with the pay, okay, it's okay. We take someone who will be happy. And as I said, it's not fair. That there's not enough job.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's not fair to pay the musician when you have a full house, when you have, a lot of money, a lot of exposure, and the money goes only to one way, not for the musician.
Right, because it's becoming more business than, about the music.
It's okay. I respect that, but I don't want to be a part of that.
Right, because for the longest time I've known you, I think since the very beginning, your goal was to, allow the musicians to play their music and then,
Exactly.
do their craft without having to worry about the paychecks, the business side.
Exactly.
Basically.
And Les Neuf, for example, is it's a HLO on double bass. And for me, it's to make sure that the music, I wanted to show to the audience there's a lot of great cellists in Montreal, and I still believe that. Fantastic cellist. And also to make sure that we pay them fairly, And with Vincent Belanger Music and Production, this is the main focus. It will be the main
all the
focus.
money goes straight to the artist.
Exactly. To the artist, to the marketing, to everything, actually.
I think this is the way because, like if the musicians want to get paid more, right? Not that money should be the main driving factor, but it forces them to be better at their craft, right? It's what, for the lack of better words, it's what motivates them, right?
Yeah, and it's sometimes people say, it's expensive, and when you go, let's say, for having Les Neuf, at that time it was like $6,000. Let's say that way, Canadian dollars
for a ticket.
For a concert.
Okay.
The
I was
cost,
gonna say.
It's not. It's.
I mean, I've been to your concerts. The tickets are, a premium, but you get what you paid for.
Exactly. So, but let's say when you are famous, you can ask more.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. So when there's full house, now it's important to make sure that the musician is
rewarded,
respected.
Right. Yeah.
Respected. And I was sad because when I said, for example, with Les Neuf, I said, okay, when we all the team, we say when we have full house, we want to reach 20% the salary of the musician.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want. Mm-hmm. And we had, finally, after 3 years, we had full house. And in my back, there's a guy of the organization, he sent a contract to all the musicians to say, okay, for the next 2 years, you accept to be paid at the minimum salary. I'm the artistic director.
So like the business side is going well, but for the musicians, the pay isn't going up.
Yes. And I say, no. Now it's time. And I don't want to say bad thing about them because they work very well. I understand
this is their business, but
yes, but me, I say no. And
right.
I don't want to be a part
because that's
of
not
that.
your vision.
No. And it's
mind you, there's a lot of musicians out there who is fine with what they're doing, but you want to make sure that the musicians are taken care of.
Yes,
I mean, being a musician yourself.
I know I'm very lucky and blessed because I'm the musical ambassador of Audionote.
Right.
So in some ways, I'm independent. This is what I like. You know,
Well, you're fully independent now,
yeah.
aside from Audio Note.
But because I love working with Audio Note,
Yes.
you know, this is after 10 years, you know, me, I'm loyal. You know, Jay, for me, it's important loyalty. And loyalty sometimes is just, okay, now we have to split up. And it's not we are married until the end. It's not like a wedding. And but with Audio Note, it's fun because I have a lot of projects. You know, I spent just 5 weeks with Daniel Kortrop, the owner of Audio Note, and we talk about my music, my composition, and you know, the link I have with Audio Note, they help me to compose more. You know, this is because sometimes I have on the artistic side, I feel a bit more complex, impostor. How do you say impostor complex?
Imposter syndrome.
Ouais, impostor syndrome. Voilà. So and Daniel always it's beautiful. You should. And sometimes because when I go to UK, sometimes I have my room, and we had a lot of discussion. We listen to a lot of music. And sometimes I practice my cello. This is nice, blah blah blah, and year after year, I had more confidence. Then during the pandemic, we tried to do a project on my music, but the producers, unfortunately, there's 2 projects that it's like I don't know why, but it's never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the second reason why I decided to create Vincent Belanger Music and Production, to make sure that the project, when it's going well, we make sure that we put all the resources to put the project.
Yeah, because from my understanding, sometimes with these kind of things, like you're in the progress of making an album, and then sometimes it'll be just cut. It'll be like, well,
the producer get bored for anything, or you fall in love, or the producer fall in love with another artist.
It's not just about the musician. It's about the other people involved.
Exactly.
Right?
So sometimes it's like, okay, it's okay. I have no problem with that. You know, you don't have to.
I mean,
be with me.
I've had that issue as well. Like one time, like when I was used to be working at the studio, right? I'll be like doing my mastering thing, and I'll be almost done, and then the producer will walk in and be like, "Hey, like when do you need this by?" And then they'll be like, "No, we don't need it anymore." Like, what do you mean you don't need it anymore? You hired me for the job. So, well, do this one instead. So I understand where you were coming from.
Exactly.
So back to the non-profit and the Rupture thing. So
exactly.
So why are you remaking Rupture as the first kind of step?
Like, it's my music, because this music, from Conversations, for example, we never did concerts. We tried in China again, but it didn't get along. And she's super busy. She has her own project, and me, I have also my own project. And for example, Comme un Tango, I never had the chance to play it live. So I decided this summer, for many reasons, I decided to take back all my music, the music I like, and I said, okay, let's start it. Let's Songe, the project, will be the first project of Vincent Belanger Music and Production. So I asked to my friends, Etienne from Les Neufs, Etienne La France, Annabelle Renzo, harpist, Amélie Boilly, soprano, and Véronique Turcotte, violinist.
Which are all amazing artists, by the way.
We just had practice this week. I was even Amélie, because Amélie, we know for so long, the soprano, and we both was close to tear, because it was, we did it. We do it now. And we are ready, and now nobody will stop us. There's no politics, no secret agenda, blah, blah. No, now we do it.
It's all about music.
Exactly. René Laflamme is doing from Fidelio. He did my album là. So he's doing, because he told me a long time before, he said, Vincent, the Ave Maria is a fantastic demo track. I think it is. The Ave Maria on là. The organ, What is amazing with the Ave Maria, it's a family thing. It's my father, my brother, my best friend, and, we did this simple but so emotional song, the Ave Maria of Caccini. And it's one of the best tracks. Sometimes I go to a hi-fi show, even in Slovakia, and the Ave Maria is on a demo playlist of a company that I don't even know, no connection. So the Ave Maria, René always told me, Vincent, if you can do like a bit more music like the Ave Maria. It's he wasn't thinking that I should do a lot of Ave Maria. It's not that, but what he was thinking, it's the combination of huge emotion and a very nice technique aspect of the music for hi-fi system.
So,
This is
so
why it
that's
is
the thing
important.
is one of the things I appreciate about you is, again, I'm not trying to put down other classical
no,
musicians,
no.
but when it comes to audiophiles, I told you this before. I like your music because you seem to understand what makes audiophiles get up from their seat, right? When I hear other classical music, sometimes I quite literally fall asleep because there's the softer parts and then there's the grand parts, and I understand all the technical aspect of it, why they do that and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes, as audiophiles, sometimes I just want to hear you go nuts on the cello, right? Like Rupture, right? But it's just like I just want to hear that scrape. I just want that fire in my music that makes me go whoa, right? Because when you start Rupture, you go wong,
Oui.
wong, and then you just go ham. And so that kind of thing, the flair is well understood from your music.
No, Ruptures is fantastic, but the real name of Ruptures is Shock.
Shock.
Yeah, the story of Rupture, I will tell you. A long time ago, once upon a time, when I get divorced of the mother of my dear Charlotte, for a month I couldn't touch the cello. I couldn't touch the cello, and it was too. I couldn't for imagine 5 weeks no cello. And when I start to play the cello back, I just start with the low string, the C, the lowest string, and this is the first melody I just wanted to play after that, and it brings me back after the shock of the separation. This is why the name was Shock. And they say Rupture, but it's more than Rupture. It's after I would say after the shock, and then all the emotion, because when you a lot of people you lose we lost some love, great love, and one step of the morning is you froze, no emotion. So this is why the shock make you like this, and it start just one note.
I'm literally getting goosebumps hearing the story behind Rupture, because again, it's not a track that has lyrics.
No.
So even
it's
after
pure emotion.
yeah,
I think it's pure emotion.
It's pure emotion.
Right.
And after years of me hearing this track, like my girlfriend, she loves you too, but she goes, "Oh, is that Vincent again?" Right? Like I play it a lot, right? But I never you never told me this story. This it's a very personal story, and I thank you for sharing it. But that really opens my eye to literally everything you did with Rupture.
Yes, and this is why it became, because then suddenly the emotion started. I remember, to just fall and cry, when the emotion is about. And now I want to do it again, because in a church now. It was a fantastic studio recording, the conversations. I love that recording, and I don't want people to think that I do not like conversations. It's very important for me.
Well, there's always progression, right? You gotta keep making your craft better.
André Gagnon did that, the famous pianist. He always did that sometimes, comme au premier jour, like the first day. He did a lot of recording of that, the same piece over his life, Well, and now I want to do it in a pure analog. And in this project of Songe, Dream, just Dream, it's like the next thing of Nocturne with Les Neufs.
So is that what that means? Dream?
Wait,
Songe?
Yes, but it's like more in terms of introspection. It's more philosophical. It's not like Dream, I want to be Superman or whatever. No, it's more emotionally, and I would say more I don't want to be philosophical, because I want
like an unconscious.
Oui.
Okay.
It's more emotion and healing also.
Okay.
Something that music, I think, music, it's help people to get through things.
Absolutely.
During the pandemic, the music helped me during the COVID, and this is it. So I
I mean, just sorry to interrupt, but back to that emotion thing, you're absolutely right. Like, during COVID, I broke up with my ex-girlfriend.
Mm.
It's still hard to talk about it, but my current girlfriend's great and all that, but at the time of breakup, it was devastating for me, as you know.
Devastating.
And I just shut myself in. I didn't make any videos at the time. People were wondering if I was okay. I didn't take any calls, and guess what I did? I sat down and I went through all your albums, right? But amongst other things, right? But I think people take it for granted with some of the stories behind music, right? And this is why I think it's important to have musicians like yourself in the podcast explaining your story, because a lot of the times, we don't quite understand the lyrics or the music and the origin of the story. To give you an example, I used to like Sam. Well, I still do like Sam Smith, and some audiophiles will give me crap for it, right? But I like his music, but it hits differently before his coming out, and then after his coming out, right? And for those of you that don't know, Sam Smith is gay, and he came out, but before that, listening to the lyrics, I didn't realize that. But after he came out, I re-listened to the lyrics.
Right.
Now I understand why he sang those lyrics.
Exactly.
Right. So, anyways, but you have a Kickstarter going for this wonderful adventure of yours.
But I use Kickstarter because for me it's like a pre-ordering to make sure I want to create like a fan base.
Mm-hmm.
I know that a lot of people they enjoyed my music, they have my music, and now I'm asking them. Now there's a new project, independent. Just now it's a good opportunity to just pre-order it. The audiophile and the music lover as well, and that will help. Because what is interesting with Kickstarter, you have all the the analytic and everything. Then when you go again for concerts and everything, that's helped to have areas. We have let's say X thousand people who follow us and blah blah blah. So because in this, what is important is always the risk. The risk. If I plan, for example, this musician is not famous, so no, the risk. I'm not taking it. No. Now I'm lucky at 45 years old. I'm not at that level. No. And what I would like, Songe is the first project of Vincent Belanger Music and Production. Now and next year, we will try to find other musicians to help them, to make sure we can, work together to build their reputation, their value, and at the end, to have the good.
So you're saying that when you're recruiting these musicians for your non-foundation, you're not looking for like how famous are they that other corporations might be looking at.
It's the emotion.
It's the emotion. It's their story and their skill set.
And sometimes when you want to create something, you have to be the first to show to draw the line.
Right.
So let's say Songe is that. So let's say maybe Songe will be a failure. We never know.
You know what? I don't think so. This is why I love when you ask me would I do a podcast for this and on my channel. I say absolutely, because I didn't realize that this was the case in your world, but in my world, the hi-fi gear and stuff like this, which is kind of interconnected. But with products, this is why on my channel I pride myself of featuring a lot of the products that you would never see on other channels, or at least you'll see it first on my channel, like Bruno integrated amplifier as an example. On Acoustic was an example. Now they're more well known, and all these kind of niche boutique brands like Arc Audio that I recently reviewed. Their products are amazing. Like they're really standouts. But again, it's not just about the skill set or the product; it's the marketing. Right. And so I'm trying to fuel fire to the marketing side for these companies that are a standout, but they may not have the budget for marketing. Right. And YouTube is just a great platform for that.
I think.
Yeah, I think it will be a success.
And this is very, for me, important because I think the audience, the public, is smarter than what some producer thinks. The last tour I did with Les Neuf, my challenge, it was for me, I wanted to show that new music, the audience at the end, they kind of prefer the new music than the beautiful arrangement. They're still beautiful, and I'm very happy of the arrangement. But the audience at the end, what they prefer, it's the new music.
Yeah, well, because
And I think in the classical music world, when we say new music, sometimes it's too technical, too modern, too. I mean, I love modern music, by the way. But
it's like in this envelope, right?
oui, but new music, it's also new romantic music, new baroque music, new instrumental music,
right?
You know? And the audience, I think, is particularly in this moment of this level of the human kind. I don't know how to say that.
I mean, now I might get a flacked if I'm saying that correctly for saying this, but I feel that, again, I'm not a classical musician, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like just like engineering school, I've been through engineering school. I got my master's in engineering. So, I feel like there's a set kind of mindset, right? The textbook mindset. This is what it is. And if you go outside of this, you're a lunatic.
Exactly.
Right? Is that kind of the gist of that? What you're trying to say?
I would say, one of my mentors told me, Vincent, in the classical music world, especially in Montreal, yes, back in time, maybe 20 years ago, it was you have to be classical. If you try to do some pop music, let's say like
you're
André
not
Gagnon,
real.
whatever, you're not, no respect. Now, it's not that, I think. I think
it's a new age.
Yes, and it's important because I think it's important to because composing, as I said previously, I have this imposter syndrome, and but in some ways it's for the audience. There's something new, but something maybe I don't want to recreate the wheel, as we say, but I want to express something, and now it's in the song. So this project, this is why I'm asking people to pre-order, to support this project, to help me to push that vision, emotional vision. For me, I prefer when you take a score, for example, any type of music, it's better to do it with emotion, with mistake, instead of doing it perfectly but with no emotion. This is my signature. When you listen all my project, from conversations to La to even pure cello, this is my signature. And there's new project that will be on audio note music, cello and organ, and cello and double bass. So we try. It's very fantastic. So, and Songe is like my, it's like it's my baby. And again, we tried a few years ago to do that, and it didn't work
out.
No, it didn't work for business and whatever reason, politics and blah. But now this is the first project of Vincent Belanger, VBMP, and this is why. So we build a Kickstarter, and we start with that, and then other project. I hope that with a bit of cello, because I'm a cellist, but with the same nature, with emotion. It could be a harp, it could be double bass, it could be oboe, clarinet, whatever.
I'm personally excited in the flexibility that this brings, right? I think for the longest time as audiophiles, like we talked about, why are we not better connected to the musicians that, we literally play in our system? And, I'm not saying that that connection is like going to be made one day, but we're getting that step closer because, like this is like kind of like cutting the middleman and going direct. And, just like a lot of companies, like Arendelle is one, and a lot of people will get upset because they think I got paid out of my ass by Arendelle. But, they're a direct to consumer company cutting the middleman out to save cost and, rewarding the customer with that experience of, a great product for less.
Right.
And I think, this is kind of what that is. You're cutting out the middleman and you're allowing direct, feedback from your fans, right? That you're creating through this Kickstarter and progressing your music that way. So this is exciting to me because every time I talk to you, I go, "Hey, Vincent, I think you should do this next." And then you would usually answer, "Oh, it's not just up to me, right?" But now it is up to you.
Exactly. And if some sponsors, some people, they want to to be a part of it, they are more than welcome. But everything will get through this non-profit organization. The mistake I did, I put the sponsor, I give it to the producer.
Right, because before it was, it
It's
was
okay.
not.
Me, I'm naive, I'm naive.
Well, you're not a business guy.
No. But I
Right.
think that if it could have worked, by the way. It could, but unfortunately it didn't. And I have not too many regrets. But now it's not. No, yes, come. But it will be through this. And then we make sure that the money goes for the artist, the promotion of the artist, etc., etc.
Basically, you just rolled up your sleeves and said, I'm going to do this because,
Right.
everyone else is not doing it properly,
Right.
or is not going to take my project with the vision that you envisioned for.
But me, for me, it's difficult. You can't copy me, but it won't be me. It will be a copy. So okay, do it. And maybe it's possible you can do better than me. Okay.
Well, there's a lot of like remakes, right?
Oui.
Or remixes or of the same music,
Right.
and people have
By
their
Nocturne.
own,
This is what we did with Nocturne.
own favorite version or something, right? Sometimes the copy is more better than the for some people,
Right.
but the reality is that the original is always respected because that's what it was based off of, right? And with your music, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen someone copy your style because it's quite.
Ruptures. It's not easy to play.
No, I've seen you play. I'm like, holy crap.
It's not easy to play, and I hope somebody. It would be a dream for me, That's if some. Maybe I can go. I mean, it could be a project. My music played by another cellist. That could be interesting. But no, it's with Rupture for Shock. Now you have to
Shock. Yes, now it's Shock.
It's Shock. The original, it's Shock. And it works with this Songe concept,
So will it be actually called Shock this time around
Right.
in the album?
Yeah, Shock. I don't know where everything would be, but
It's a good thing that you told me this because I would have gotten my album and been like, "Where's Rupture?"
but maybe for you, I will. It will be Shock and
Bracket,
Rupture.
Rupture.
No, but Comme un tango. Comme un tango. It's in conversations. I think it's the first or the second or it's one of the two first, the most popular piece.
Yeah.
Comme un tango. On the conversations. And again, I really want to play it in concert. So now I completely recompose the piece. I add one violin, and there's no piano, obviously. And
So wait, when you say live concerts, right? How does that happen now compared to like when you were in the organization, right? Like now, you have to take the Kickstarter fund that you sold your CDs and LPs from, divided amongst your musicians,
Exactly.
and then also use some of that fund to do marketing and also do these concerts, right?
Yes, all the revenue they are going to the non-profit organization,
Right.
and I have a committee with me. I have a president. She's I know her for so long. She's Michel Boisvert. She's fantastic. She helped me very much since a long time. And then you have Geneviève Busbib, also a big fan of Les Neuf, big fan of my musical vision. And we all agreed, and some other peoples as well. You have I asked Valerio.
You're taking on additional sponsors as well.
And sponsors is not only money. Sometimes it's people think we need because sponsors. The meaning of sponsors is money, but we need more than that. It's to like community, some fan base.
Like they're involved more than just
Exactly.
the money aspect.
Just make sure. Vincent, maybe I know these people in Philadelphia, blah blah blah, and blah blah blah. Well, maybe you should meet him. It's more than money. The relationship.
Right.
I never with Audionote, I never built a relationship with Audionote only on money.
Right.
No, it's artistic connection with them. Yes, there's money involved, of course, and I like to do the demonstration of Audionote to show how emotional. When I put conversations on my Audionote system, I'm happy to have this emotion.
Would you say the conversation is one of your best pieces?
Conversations. I'm a classical musician. I would say it's pure cello. Pure cello. Even to my place. Recently, I just retrieved my TT3, because you still have my DAC 0, and it's
You can take it.
we should talk about that. No, but now my TT3 is back to my place.
Yeah.
I put Pure Cello at, and I'm not the type of artist who like to play his own music, blah blah blah. Not really. On just Pure Cello, because I'm so proud. When we did the recording of that, it was so fun. So fun, and it's like Michel Plante was involved in this project. And it's like
That's
I
like
laugh.
the organizer for Toronto
Toronto
Audio
and
Fest.
Montreal,
Yeah,
yeah.
He was involved.
Yes, he's the president, executive producer of this project.
I
He
did
was
not
there.
know that.
Don't know, and it's funny because when he was there, it's very difficult. Pure cello,
Yeah, I mean, I have to give it to the organizers of Toronto and Montreal Audio Fest as
Well-
well. Like, out of all the shows I've been to, like single-handedly the most musicians. Like, and I really love the concept of how you guys like play,
Right.
and then right after play back the system. It's like it gives me really good indication of what the system's doing
Exactly.
compared to the real thing, right?
Exactly. It's not perfect, but again, it shows how close it is. And like I say, always it's not a competition between me and the speakers, because the live music always win. What I think what I understood, they didn't say that like what I'm about to say. This industry actually, it's about to bring the musician, the musical vision of any type of music, of creators or whatever, in the house of the people. So all the efforts, the resources of every company, this is what this industry is about. To take me and to reproduce me, my music, my musical vision in the house of the people.
Yeah.
And I love it, I met so fantastic people. Audiophile are crazy people. They are not music lover, standard music lover. It's they will like just the snap or the crack of the wall. They will be more impressed of the ambient sometimes. If you hear the musician with the chair was cracking, did you hear that?
The crack. Yeah.
I just want to listen
I
to the
think-
melody. No. Look, there's a chair.
Yeah, I think that there's different types of audiophiles, right? There's definitely there's a lot of argument, but there's it goes both ways. Sometimes I get in the comments of these like really arrogant people who are like, oh, you don't need expensive gear. It's all about the music. How much music do you own? I'm like, well, you don't know how much music I own, and you don't know how much I spend on music compared to the gear stuff. But the fact of the matter is, there is many different types of audiophiles in this industry, right? And you're absolutely right. The real thing always wins. But I don't think it's so much about a competition as like one is winning, but so much that it's different. I mean, think about it, right? Live concert, you're a single point source of sound. We're trying to recreate that with 2-point sources, left and right channel. It's not the same thing. You're in a different environment. You're recording in a church. Playback in my system. My system's not in a church, right?
Exactly.
So it's a different thing, a different experience.
It's in some ways it's a douce illusion. It's like a soft illusion.
Yeah,
In some ways, this is what I think, and it works.
yeah,
For me, I'm doing this for 10 years for the same company.
yeah. And you're one of the very few people like that actually believes in cables. I have to put you on the spotlight, right? And you mentioned you mentioned how everything matters, and we went into that subject in another video.
Wait.
So we won't go too much into that direction, but just to say, like, a lot of people go like psychoacoustics, right, as if that's like a bad thing, but illusion, like stereo, is an illusion. Like it starts, our hobby starts off with an illusion,
That's it.
right? There's science involved, but it's nevertheless an audio illusion. So it's funny when people talk about like for me, it's funny people talk about live versus real thing, playback, zero distortion. For me, when I when I played your music, Rupture, I played it in a very color system. JBLs, vintage JBLs, the JBL L300 with MC30s from Macintosh. We're talking about tube gear, all mid-centric, like very colored gear. None of these gear were neutral back then. Despite that, I enjoyed it very much. But when I heard you play live, that's when I played my system at that point changed drastically.
Right.
And when I played that on modern gear, I realized, yeah, it is more neutral. It is less colored so that I can hear like almost like crackling. It's more detailed, right? But that may be your thing. Or, I wouldn't mind listening to your track on vintage system. It's all about the enjoyment, right? Like
Exactly.
I also go to your concert. I drove 6 hours to go to your concert. If I can recreate the exact same thing in my system, why the heck would I do that? I mean, aside from, eating Korean barbecue and hitting it off with you, but I mean, no, seriously, right? Like it's not a competition. It's two
No.
different things.
It's two different things, and also, it's when you are because Thomas Stereo, he asked me why there's not a lot of classical musician in this industry like you, because I'm kind of unique. Yes, you see some classical musician, some of them they may own some system, etc., etc. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about our industry.
Okay.
It might be possible that there's a lot of maybe bullshit. I don't want to name anyone, but there's a lot of maybe some fail. Some people try. They have this theory, so they build whatever because they want to blah blah blah, but they fail. Well, it's possible. But let's say we are in a perfect world and everyone is success. A big success. Everyone what? This industry is about the reproduction of music, and it's like when you have a piece of meat. I know I read on some answers. Sometimes I like this comparison with food and music. So some people they prefer salty, blah 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 blah. But so it depends, and also there is some people doesn't have the same ears. It doesn't mean
nobody does.
good or bad. It's not about that.
Yeah, it's different.
Some people, cables, they feel the difference. Some they don't. It doesn't mean they are stupid. Blah 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 blah. It's the ears works probably differently. You know what I mean? But me,
Well, it could be pure psychoacoustics, right? But either way, my argument with cables has always been, and again, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole in this video particularly, but again, my argument has always been like, well, yeah, the cable is not measurably different, but are you sure you're measuring the right thing? And even if you are, right, and let's say it's just like in your head,
exactly.
it's still a difference in your head. Okay, maybe I'm thinking this too complex, right? But at the end of the day, it's the person's ordeal, right? And you mentioned how cables, everything matters. Like when you compared it to like your cello, right? Your strings, like
Exactly.
all the little things, and you showed me like all these unnecessary things. Well, unnecessary things that is absolutely necessary when you want to do the best, right? It's like those small differences do add up.
Bang. This is, I think, this is my touch. The details. Even when I compose music, I make sure that I have everything.
Like, can I be honest? One of the psychoacoustic phenomenon I experienced with you is that when you are in a huge venue, right? When I'm like in the backstage, when I first, second or third concert I went to, you were wearing a suit, a black suit. You looked very proper, and you were playing, and I thought you were just like on your game, right? But then like you're wearing a t-shirt at an audio show, you're playing, you're really good too, but like I just have like I just feel like that is like a more eventful kind of a musical experience, right? So it's definitely psychoacoustic. It's not a bad thing. It's people think that they can separate themselves from bias, right? That's why in my videos I always talk about my bias, because it's important to know the other person's bias so you can understand where they're coming from. It's impossible for a human being to be not biased.
No,
you have a bias in one way or other.
Of course, no. I'm completely biased. You know, in this audio industry, I don't know a lot of company. I know Audionote, and my love story in audio is with Audionote. So of course I'm biased. So what I share is my experience, because actually nobody, everybody is biased in some ways.
Yeah. Well, people don't like the word being biased because they think that you're a bad person.
No, they want to be, I'm right. This is it.
This is factual. This is it. Right. But
man, I don't know the wood of my bow. I spend $7,000 for my bow.
Yeah,
I don't fucking know. Sorry, the wood. What? I don't care. It works. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
You like it, you don't like the rest. I just want to enjoy the music, with my friends, with my family. Just enjoy what I have in my place.
Right.
And but what is nice, I just want to go back with the suit. Yes, when I in concert hall, I like the protocol, the decorum, we said in French.
Mhm.
You the street, you look clean, very classy, and you play. In hi-fi shows, I used to, back in time, 10 years ago, I used to do that, to be very classy with nice shoes, etc. The problem is, because I'm a classical musician, people scared me. The audiophiles are like scared. Oh no!
No, I was too. I was like, this guy is wearing a nice suit. I'm wearing a t-shirt and a leather jacket.
No. And me, I don't want to distract people, because when I do hi-fi shows, I want to make sure that it's not about I'm better than them.
Right.
No, I just want to make sure that people, when they come to the audio room, they have a musical and emotional experience.
Right.
If they have
It's a good
I'm
chance
happy.
to like know you as a person, because
Exactly.
it's like, in a smaller venue, right? One thing that I wanted to ask you, and this kind of sidetracking a bit, but I was quite shocked when I went to Lenough's concert. I think it was a year or two ago, and you guys were in that massive hall.
Fiona Hall in Toronto?
Yes, no, the Montreal one.
Oh yeah. Yes, the Maison Symphonique.
Yeah, Mezzo Symphonique, and that one, I was sitting down, I was listening, and I think I was still with my ex at the time,
Yeah.
so it must have been more than 2 years ago. But anyhow, we were sitting down, and we were listening to music, and she likes classical music, and she was falling asleep, and I was like nudging her. I was like, "Dude, don't make me look bad." And she was saying that it sounds amazing. I was like, "If you're not enjoying yourself, you're free to step out. I'm like having a blast." But she nudged me, and she was like, "Well, like it's actually not that it's boring. It's just that it's very low in volume, right?" And so this was unamplified live music versus amplified live music. There's one
Exactly.
clarification that I wanted to make to people, is that people often go, like when I see my videos, like the system sounds like a concert, right? People think,
My father said that, the first time when
Yeah.
when I started to work with Audio, the first time he came to the room, my father said that. He
Sounds
said,
like a concert.
He took his glass of wine, look at me, it's better than a concert hall. I hope not, but it's...
Well, no, people think that when I say it's a concert, people think that think within what they've experienced, which is
Yes.
natural, right?
But remember, I think it was the time of the COVID also.
Yeah.
And the Maison Symphonique, when you have a small chamber ensemble, because it's for the big symphony orchestra, but when they have a small chamber ensemble, they have to, the roof, the ceiling.
I mean, it's a
know-
huge place.
Oh, wait, but they have to put it as low as possible.
Oh, really?
Right. So, and the sound is much better that way, because otherwise it sounds, yes, it's a bit, but if you compare with, next time you should come to Palais Montcalm in Quebec City, because the Palais Montcalm, the design of the Palais Montcalm, it's like the inside of a cello, and on the website it's written, and it's for the cello. This Palais Montcalm, it's like I have a 2,000-watt cello. Là. It's
Well, I didn't mind the low volume
No.
because again, I've been to a lot of different concerts, and there's definitely like I went to Sleep Token, right? Like that's a totally different concert. Now, but albeit when I'm at Sleep Token's concert, I'm not looking for the last detail and the tonality of the no, because it's an amplified concert, which means there's speakers in front of you, right, shooting at you. You're not really hearing what's on the stage only. You're hearing through a system that they set up, which is a PA system.
Right.
So it's not gonna sound as good. So people
This is the
often
problem.
right,
Right.
it's concerts. There's different types of concerts too.
Right.
People have to realize that when audiophiles talk about concerts, they're really talking about the live unamplified concerts.
Right. And when Toronto, for example, you have one of the best concert hall in North America. The Kerner Hall is one of the best venue. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
We have Montreal with the Maison Symphonique, and we have Quebec with Palais Montcalm. So America, it's full of nice concert hall. I've been in Miami. It's just amazing. I don't remember the name, but it was like it's like an atrium. It was amazing. The sound, the guy was, and it's bigger, I think, in terms of seats than a lot of venue. And it's like he was in the middle of the room. I wasn't very high, and he did that. And I hear it. It's like a Greek theater, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just amazing. When you have the chance, what I want to say to Audiophile, when you have the chance to live near a fantastic venue, just go. And
Well,
feel
I'm
it.
very fortunate because
Right.
like Montreal is pretty far, but
Right.
Montreal has great venues.
Yeah,
Downtown
but
Toronto has great venues.
the Kerner Hall, I think, it's the best, like, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a nice place, like, you know, Brockville. There's a fantastic Italian theater. It's Smallville, Brockville. It's not,
Yeah.
but there's a fantastic Italian type theater there. The acoustic is fantastic. You know, in Quebec, we have the churches.
Mm-hmm.
This is the church. And Songe, this is why I want to to record everything in the church. You know, because what I like with hi-fi, for example, if I want to connect the hi-fi with my music, is the hi-fi. It shows how you can go in the extreme pianissimo, extreme fortissimo, and I like it. I like the extreme. You like Rupture, you know. I like to start, and then it became very loud, and then
Yeah, like
disappear.
I tested for dynamic range in my system all the time.
and I love the possibility of doing that in recording.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, everything. What is important, I think, the first of all, is the musician.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because zero multiplied by 1,000.
Right, like you gotta have
Zero.
a source to be good, right?
Yeah,
Like,
so the musician.
like,
that-
would you like me to play the cello or you, right? Like,
I can teach you.
well,
But it's this is the most important thing, and then the recording. How we
Agreed.
do the recording. I don't want to go in the debates of digital and analog. I love the sound of analog. Okay, I think when you do a pure tape recording
mm-hmm.
for the cello, especially, and strings,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's not. I have nothing against digital. I would probably do some recording in digital. It's fantastic. There's possibilities. It's fantastic. But I love the analog. You know,
Well, I'll say it. I still hate digital.
I don't hate digital. I don't want to go
Okay,
there.
well, let me back up here before I get before I get flamed, right? I still think, right, CD players sound better dollar for dollar than streamers.
I think too.
So this is why I don't download your music. I own your CDs and your LPs, and it's not that analog sounds better to me. It's just a different experience, right? It's like a totally different thing. Again, it goes back to like live versus playing back in a
Totally.
stereo system.
But me, you know, I download when I like an artist.
Yeah.
I go and download the files.
Yeah.
Then I use it. Then when I like it, and sometimes I see the same artist on vinyl, and then I go and I buy the vinyl.
Yeah.
I start. It's the way I start, or the CD, whatever. And because there's something convenient in the digital. The problem is we don't have to say that digital is better the analog, or analog is better than. You know, if you
convenience.
invest, if your DAC is very expensive, if you invest a lot in it, let's say level 3, level 4 DAC,
It's a great DAC, yeah.
of course, probably compared to your CD player or your turntable level 1, level 2, probably your files will sound better. Now, it depends of where you spend your resources in your life. Me, I love the vinyl. I'm a big vinyl fan. And, you know, it surprised me because in Germany, I have a friend and he does some recording. It was south of Germany during the pandemic. And well, he put his own recording on tape, and then he showed the vinyl. He put the vinyl. Can you imagine that you lost 50% of the quality? The master tape is still the best, you know?
Yeah, no, I think
this is for me. I don't have, and I can't
reel
wait
to
to
reel.
have I can't wait to have that.
yeah, I mean the reel to reel thing is like very real, no pun intended. Like I mean, the music pieces are very expensive, but outside of that, like that's why I tried to get the one step, which is like ungodly expensive, right? But there's different tiers. I mean, you can get reels for $200, which is still a lot,
Yes,
but you know, it can go up to like 1,000 plus.
you know my friend Greg Barron. Do you know him? He
No.
makes it's America Home audio video. I don't know, but he's doing this,
Yeah.
and I like him very much. You know, I think now he's with MBL at Capital Audiophile
Yeah.
Fest. So Greg Barron, and because I asked him the first time I did hi-fi shows, Greg bring his reel-to-reel tape deck, and he did the recording of me on tape, and then we did the first demo I did long time ago. And then I called him. She said, "Yeah, do you have one for this project of songs? Because I would like to record because I really liked what he did." And he said, "No, I sold everything. It's everything. I can't do it for this time. I'm sorry." So it's good. So reel to reel, it's growing more famous, more
But
popular.
I think you know, I think we're kind of sidetracking here. But you know, like format is important to some degree.
Oui.
But you know, that's why you see a CD player down there on my system, a turntable, reel to reel, streamer. I have all four because that's like how I expose
too.
myself
Me
to
too.
a wide variety of music. But I think what you said in the beginning, like you said that you're gonna record Songe in the church,
Exactly.
right? Like how it's recorded, I think is vastly more important.
It's vastly important. And when I contact René Laflamme, he said, "Oh yes, it would be nice. You wanted a pure analog?" I said, "Yes." So we agreed. And then when I met him in Toronto, he told me, "Vincent, what do you think if I'm using only two microphones? Because now he's back to two microphones only, and it's not easy to do that." Huh?
No.
And I'm so happy, man. It will be very rich, and I think people will need. It will test the hi-fi system very well.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, people sometimes they like to just. We know how you have two type of audiophile: the music lover and maybe the more technician, and with no blame or no judgment. But I like sometimes when you go to some friends with they are more technical and they challenge the system. They should look the bass will look this. Blah, 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 blah. Songe will be a nice must have too. I think because you know with the double bass, for example, Etienne he has he had some we can have three more lower notes into the double bass. It's a huge difference. You know, sometimes you have the bass plus the soprano. There's one piece I'm using the extreme of the double bass plus the extreme of the violin and cello. So when you let's say when you how do you say étiré? Anyway, it's extreme. You know, you put extreme like this. You need the stem had to be good. And yes, I say that probably in an audiophile and technique way, but in terms of emotion, when you have this melody going very high, 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 and the double bass low, 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 you know, it's kind of shocking. You know, it's like I want to just and then there's a release. I think this album will be like a yoga. Music yoga, you know.
Music
so
yoga.
I create a tension and then I release the tension, you know.
You're talking. There's like a lot of dynamics.
Exactly, and tension, yes, harmonically. You know, even in
Okay.
the chords, sometimes I like to
I
have
see.
and also I like harshness. For example, I had this discussion
You
before.
like harshness?
Sometimes,
Okay.
in music, so I have the violin, for example, in the Comme Tango.
Right.
I had this song. It's like a one note, and I said to my friend, I said, "No, just no vibrato, just go," and it works, you know, in terms of the expression. I hope the audiophile will not say, "Oh, it's too harsh. It's too harsh." No,
Oh,
we
okay,
need to.
okay.
No.
So I think I understand what you're talking about. You're not talking about the harshness in the audiophile sense where like the
No.
system's like screaming at me, but it's
Exactly,
more
no.
like the technique you're talking about.
In music expression.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Because so what I say, what I realized after 10 years is sometimes some company maybe, and please don't blame me or judge me in the comments. Some companies sometimes they try to fix things that doesn't need to be fixed.
I agree.
Yeah. Period. It's like I don't want to develop that, but
Well, I think I've said this before, but I think that we just have too many brands, right? Like as much as I love all the boutique brands, there are some that overlap way too much. Like they're doing the exact same thing basically under a different brand, different kind of label. But that's a topic for a different day. I think.
it's interesting because there's a lot of brands. It's like this, but at the end, it's the audience who decide who survive,
I
who not
agree.
survive.
I agree.
So it's
But it's interesting because like your track, like Rupture, I recommended to a friend. He was telling me, how much he loves it and how the emotion, and he actually wants to like come to your concert and like see you in person. Because I said I know him in person. He was like, and I sent him a video. He was like, "You're so lucky, you freaking bastard," right? And I was like, "Yeah, I know." But he got recommended the track Rupture. Somehow he was playing every other track, but Rupture. And he played that track and he was thanking me how I introduced him to the track and he was having a blast in his system. And then the other day, now I don't know what he has in his system. We talk about music a lot, but he's not an audiophile. Well, he is an audiophile, but he's not a kind of guy who looks for different gear all the time. He's pretty happy with what he has, far as I understand. And he took a little video clip and sent it to me, and it was like a total small vintage system. And I knew exactly what was in the system. I had those vintage speakers. I had the vintage Pioneer he had. And funny enough, that system to me, I asked him, do you hear any bass? Because that system cuts off around 100 hertz.
Okay.
Again, measurement wise, right? But he was telling me how the delicateness of your strings and all that kind of stuff. But see, Rupture, when I heard in my JBL system and even with subs in my system before, it was for me all about that like rupture, literally rupture of
and the bass
dynamics.
Yes, and my cello has this fantastic mellow bass and a bit powerful as well too.
So my question to you is, right, like this guy, right, my friend, he's enjoying the system, enjoying the track for a different reason than I or what you might have intended for. Right? How do you feel about that when, as a musician, sometimes when like people listen to systems that you just like, that's not what my music sounds like, but they like it?
This is a great question. This is the great question. Me, first of all, I'm not a manufacturer. I'm not. I don't have to sell him a system, so I don't. It's not. How can I say?
But like you put all this effort, right?
Wait,
you put all this effort into making your track, recording in a church, and then the guy listened to it in a garage. Like, I don't know.
There's a guy.
But he likes it.
There's a guy who bought. Maybe I can tell you a story.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I told you before, but a pure cello, it's a double 45 RPM.
Yeah.
There's a guy in America. He told me, I love pure cello, but I prefer it in 33 RPM.
Yeah.
I told you, I think.
Yeah, you did.
Good, like, if you're, it's like, okay, it's, when, this is a good question because if you are, most of the time, music wise, I try to be neutral, not to think, to sell the system, whatever. I try to be neutral. And this is why I don't, I told you the story of Shock, for example, Rupture. And I sometimes I don't really like sometimes to tell the inside story because I don't want sometimes to deceive people because instrumental music, you made your own story. Even if I tell you everything what I have in mind, what I want to express, instrumental music, because there's no lyrics, it's beautiful because you choose the story actually.
Right.
Well, so the guys, he prefer that more, but at least I'm happy because he's enjoying my music. And if he comes to a concert, maybe I hope he will not be disappointed, Maybe he will say, there's too many bass in this. I hope. But there's a guy, I think I told you that story too.
Yeah.
Well, he came and, there's F sharps, blah, blah, blah. In the room, it was
all right. He was complaining about the bloom, yeah.
And so he said, the speakers are boomy. And then when I play live the same F sharp, he said, the cello is booming. And he said, no, the cello is not booming. And he looked at me and said, sometimes, it's fun, this type of situation. But,
Right.
well, at the end, it's people can do what they want to do with my music. Me, I what I want to produce. Actually, what we sell, if we try to talk business, we sell emotion.
Yeah.
What I'm selling is emotion, the experience you come in a hi-fi show with
Well,
my vinyl, whatever.
I think again, sorry to interrupt, but I think it's again, I'm not comparing my YouTube channel or other YouTubers to musicians, but I think it's content, right? So you're trying to appeal and sell emotion, right? Like, and it's a therapeutic thing.
And you know what? Every time I did recording with Leneuf, it was important. What was the most important is the mood.
Yeah.
As I said, maybe it may sound childish for you, but it's like we do not record music. We record the pleasure we have to play it. You know what I mean? And it's a huge difference. And maybe I'm biased. Yes, no, but not maybe I'm biased. But sometimes I look, I buy some music and I hear, I can hear they keep probably the track and they weren't inspired. In pop music or whatever, folk music, acoustic folk pop music, let's say that way. This is what I love, this type of music, because you feel the emotion of every artist. They are so happy to be there to do a recording, blah blah blah. But sometimes in the classical music world, I lose
So
interest.
technical.
It's not inspired. Me, maybe it's because I'm too much in this business, so I get bored easy. But when I discover, when you know how I buy a vinyl when I go to the vinyl store, I look the cover.
Well, I think a lot of us do.
No, I just that I go and I don't. Sometimes it's electro music. I say okay, I have $300. Okay, let's go, and I go. I spend 30, and it's like a challenge. I know how, but it's only the cover, and sometimes it's funny because sometimes it's fantastic, very modern. Sometimes you have some naked people. Sometimes they're close. There's weird cover, in vinyl. It's crazy. And
you have no idea how many times I've made that mistake. It's all marketing, man.
But yes, but I play the game.
Like that's what I remember.
And I listen everything. Even if I did a bad choice, I listen A to Z.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I would say most of the time, I'm happy surprised.
You're lucky. Well,
should come in Montreal.
Have you ever had one of those albums where, like you mentioned, there's like some sexuality kind of shown, right? And then you play the music. It's like,
what it is?
This is not like it's like piano, right? It's like wait a minute, what did the cover have to do anything with the music? I'm so confused. Exactly. And you search up the story of the music, try to connect the dots. It's like the cover has nothing to do with the music. Exactly. That confuses me sometimes.
It's very confusing. Sometimes it looks like very childish. It will be very melody. It's like well, but I like it, and it's I like this game, the vinyl.
Well, it's like discovering new music, right? Like sometimes.
And this
is for me. I try to fish for like indie pop music sometimes, in those like steel $2 ones. It's always the best feeling, right? When you pay $500 for a Beatles collection, you know what you're getting. But when you get $2, and then it sounds good. That's but to get there, you don't realize how much you spend.
No. And what is it? Well, of course, I have the connection. Sometimes I take some vinyl of my father.
Yeah.
And it's full. But of course, full classic. My father is an opera singer. Well, and it was funny because I found a fantastic vinyl of a Russian opera from Rimsky-Korsakov, and I put the first track. It was so great. There was soprano, blah, blah, blah. I said, wow. It was, and sometimes with old recording, especially in classical music, you have a lot of treasures. And then, unfortunately, sometimes it's very bad because when the choirs come, some pressing, everything is compressed because the choir is supposed to be like this. And what? So why I'm doing this? Because sometimes it's just, okay, it's helped me in my music creation and interpretation. Because sometimes I like to work with some textures I can hear in some different type of music, whatever. And this is what I like,
I
actually.
mean, I was shocked. Like you introduced me, like I think you're the first classical musician to like give me the impression that you like other kind of types of music, right? That's like very rare for me.
Right.
Every time I mean, so it's like when we did that GR Research Excellence Encore versus Stone's Flower, blind AV video, I told you to choose your 10 familiar tracks, and the tracks that you chose, I looked at it and I was like shocked because like maybe out of the 10 you chose, only 2 were classical, and then there was like Split the Atom.
Yeah.
I was shocked that you. I mean,
I love Split the Atom.
amazing, but like not what I would expect from someone, because again, back going back to that technical side of classical, right?
Ouais.
And then you also like Red Handed.
Yeah. Félix Laban.
Yeah, and to be clear, I didn't know about that track until you let me know, and I introduced it to a lot of audiophiles. They love it, So you're saying that you get like inspired by these things, right?
Exactly. It's for me it's fantastic electro, and this is why my new demo, with Dylan, I try to add. I like maybe personally I will try to do a project to mix live and electro. It's done a lot. I know it's done a lot. A lot of cellists try to do that around the world, but
it's inspired in a different way.
It's a long-term project, this with Dylan, but I love it. There's some textures, and again, it's because when I met the original community, all this music is from them. I look Vincent, and sometimes we say, well, there's a composer I love. It's Schubert. And one of my teachers says, when I was a student, he said, if you get bored when you are hearing Schubert, it's because it's a bad interpretation. It's French. I was in France at that time. And sometimes I say, if we don't like sometimes of music, it's maybe the setup is wrong with the system. If we don't like it, because every type of music, the emotion, maybe I thought that probably classical, when I was brainwashed with my education, maybe it's like classical music is the only blah, 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 the purest, blah, blah. No. Classical music, acoustic music, or cello music is cello music. It is no more, no less. Bang. And then I opened my eyes and my ears, my eyes, and I discovered fantastic music. And Félix Laban is one of my favorite bands. Split the Atom, when I want to clean my house, sometimes I put Split the Atom. I love it. It's
amazing.
Like, you just...
it's crazy.
Yes. And then, of course, I listen to classical music. With,
but I mean, there's that judgmental eye on in the audiophile hobby too. Like I was kind of shocked when I first entered the hobby as a young guy, right? And of course, because I'm a young guy, I didn't start off liking Dire Straits, right? I started off liking like Sam Smith. I don't know. At the time, it wasn't Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish came later, but Kenny G. Right? Like,
I convinced a guy with sorry, I interrupt you with Billie Eilish. It sounds great.
Yeah,
I think. And there's a guy who said, because I was in Italy, I think, and the guy said, oh, it's so nice to have a great musician, blah blah blah. And what he says, because say Billie Eilish. I said, oh, c'est Billie Eilish. I thought, wait a minute, I put a piece of Billie Eilish, and he was surprised that a classical musician defend Billie Eilish, to somebody say, and he loved it, he said, oh, no, you're right, no, Billie Eilish, you can, for me, she's completely elsewhere in this pop music industry. I don't know what's the type, and I like exactly because I like the texture she add in her music.
Like the bad guy, like there's a lot of bloom there, right? Bass. But like
and what I like, she explore different type of music also. Sometimes it's very auto-tuned voice, and sometimes super acoustic, like old French ballad.
Right. I mean, like even the auto-tune and stuff like that, though. Like I understand the whole sentiment of like modern recordings not being as well recorded because these engineers are now kind of forced to adhere to the mass by tuning it to like earbuds instead of a hi-fi system. Like that's their last resort, or not last resort, that last priority, right? But aside from that, like when I first entered, like, but you like the music that you grew up with. So when I first entered this hobby with my choice of music before I expanded into other stuff that I like, I was shocked by the judgment that a lot of these people had, right? Like one guy that was working in the hi-fi shop with me said that's not real music. I'm like, what do you mean it's not real music? It's music. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not real music, right? So there's like a generation thing. Like it's hilarious. Like you talk to a guy that grew up in the 90s, right? Versus in the 80s, they still argue about like, what is real music.
Well, there's another point to that. So some audiophile, they only listen old music from the 70s.
Yeah.
It's like we exist, we do recording, we do some new vinyl, and yes, we also do pure analog recording. So sometimes, this is probably with this project, I want people to say, hey, just buy new music too,
Yeah.
It's fun to have all the great jazzman to the remaster, but how many versions do we need of the?
Yeah.
But I think, we as artists, modern artists in 2024, the market asking for vinyl and etc. etc. And it's a lot of investment. It's a lot of efforts. Let's say that way. And yes, the audiophile. I hope the audiophile, they will be more into new music, new vinyl, not only the old nice records. And yes,
because
nice,
let's face it, there is great music that's coming out new. Like I'm always excited for the new recording, the new presses, new stuff coming from you. Like I always ask you, where the heck is my reel, right?
No, you will.
Yeah,
you will with this though. It's this is very important. But I have, unfortunately, two projects that probably they will never be on the market. Unfortunately, if some days I can put the hand of the master tape, I will for sure. But otherwise, this one will be. It will be also available on master tape.
So what's the timeline with the whole Kickstarter thing?
It's 30 days from now.
Okay.
So let's say we start. We started with
like you're recording in 30 days.
Yes, it's a record. I started Kickstarter for marketing purpose.
Right.
It's mostly for that, to make sure that I want to build the fan base.
Right, to let people know.
I want to feel about it. I would like people who likes my music. We sold a lot of I sold a lot of. I'm asking them, please show yourself. Just there's a lot of perks. There's a lot of perks. They can also have me for a private concert. I can give a small
what if because a lot of my fan base, well, not fan base, but like the viewers that watching, that may be a fan of you, lives in like different countries.
Absolutely, right.
So what would happen in those situations?
That we can ship everywhere in the world.
Ship yourself.
I can
for
ship
private
myself,
concerts.
For the private, yes. It's the country where I do hi-fi shows mostly.
Oh, okay, I see.
But in America, for example, it's easy to travel.
I see. Because you do go to a lot of shows, right?
Exactly. So in America, there's not a problem. Everywhere in North America, so it's not a problem for me. In Europe, it's better if it can be when I do hi-fi shows, mostly hi-fi shows. So it's Italy, Slovakia, Scandinavia,
just
Germany.
To be clear, like I had that personal concert, right? Because and it's a fantastic experience, right? It's like crazy. Like my mom is a fan of you as well after hearing your music. She hasn't met you yet. But you said you're gonna play Rupture for her after this.
I will.
She's gonna probably cry. It's a very like the real like one of the measurements I look at is like power response, right? And the power response in a system is totally different when you look at a person playing a cello in a room. It's just the emotional tonality, the way sound propagates into the room is different. So it's a totally different experience and. It's like really really emotional,
and the range of the cello, just the range, I think for any audiophile and music lover, it's fantastic. Everybody, the cello has this connection with the audience, easy connection, I would say. It's like a flute or a trumpet or whatever. Well, but the cello, when you start, after 10 years, I can say that, me, playing in a small room of hotel day after day for years, it's very, I learn a lot. Maybe I just want to open this because first, when I start, for example, you play, you have 10 people in front of you, and in the middle of you play. In the middle, some people leave.
Yeah.
They leave. So imagine as an artist, some people, they look at you like this and poof, they leave.
Yeah.
So you have to, you learn humility. So, I remember the first years of, I said, why I'm doing this? And then in Germany, I get angry about someone. No, we close the door, blah, 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 blah. I get angry. And now we say every time let's say for years now, we say, listen, if you don't like it, just leave. And then we continue the demonstration. Even when we say that, there's still people.
I think that is, not just about building a thick skin, but also like it's the interruption, right? Like you get distracted when someone leaves, middle playing, you can't concentrate,
and it's not fun. But you know what? I learn a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly, I learn more in this type of things than when I play in the full house of Maison Symphonique.
Mm-hmm.
And because this is also one of my, to play for the people and to show them. Most of people 10 years ago, back in time, they never saw a live instrument. Yes, piano, because in a hotel there's a piano. But to see a live classical musician like me, most of Audiophile, I've been to hi-fi shows, for the note, around the world. For most of them, I was one of the first live experience.
Yeah.
And for me, it means a lot for me. And of course, when you're a classical musician, you're like a prophet. But me, I'm not a prophet. As I told you before, I consider myself not like a prophet, but as a baker.
I have other classical musicians, friends, right? And nothing against them, and they know how I feel, but they're like
what I mean.
They're like a stick, like they're like very a proper, right?
It's okay. It's like
I don't know what the accent was.
So some people they think that God is talking to them because they are inspired by God. I don't know what. No, me, I consider myself like a baker.
Right.
And in terms of music, maybe I would say a storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
I like to express, to tell a story. And for me, it's very important. What is classical music or my own music or Anne Bisson's music or whatever's music? This is what I want to do.
I mean, classical music, like even Beethoven, right? Like, is storytelling.
For me, and I'm a big fan of Beethoven, and so I'm very inspired by him. By the way, it's something how he can he just do a scale or ba 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 bam ba 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 bam. It's not music, it's a rhythm, and he builds a symphony with that.
Like I have my Beethoven collection down there in vinyl and CD, and it's like every single time, I'm just like this guy was a genius. Like there's no. Arguably one of the best, right?
And
so,
you know what is interesting? When you take, for example, Karajan version, then another conductor, it's completely different. You change the interpret, the conductor, to symphony orchestra, and it's like the same music became completely different.
But I feel like a lot of these kind of like remixes, again, nothing to them personally. I don't know them personally, but like I've heard like different kind of versions of Beethoven's pieces, and I always felt like the original was better. I always thought there was more ego involved than pure technical. Like it's almost like they're trying to do something extra.
There's two things about that, because the problem is most of the time is from the producer side, and we're back again to this topic. Yeah. The producer says, if you play the Beethoven sonata, we'll sell a lot. It doesn't care if the artist what can you add to the Beethoven piano sonatas? What can you add? It's not the question. No, play that, you will sell a lot.
So you're just becoming an instrument. The producers are the musicians.
The example.
Yeah.
When I wanted to do cello and organ project, it was like after I had this idea about cello and organ. I talk to a lot of people about that, and they say, "Oh no, it's not. There's no market for that. There's no market for that." Well, when I first met Peter Kvarta from Audionote, he says he was like he liked cello and double bass. He really wanted to develop something. I say, and me, I have a crazy project. I would like to do cello and organ. He look at me, what? It's a fantastic idea, you know. But I talk about this project for if maybe 20 people, you know, producer house, you know, recording, blah 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 blah. They all say no, and Peter say yes, and we did. We did the cello and
Well,
organ.
you
It
know,
will be launched probably in the next
in
year.
terms of the business side, right? The
Right.
reason is that it's easier to sell to a market than make the market. But what people don't realize is that, you know, there's a lot of pioneers that made the market that they see today.
Completely. I'm lucky because I think I'm good about my market. When I go the hi-fi shows, I love doing hi-fi shows. Huh? I love it, especially with Audionote, because after 10 years, I did connections with people, with the Audionote community, with the non-Audionote community as well too. And it's for me, I'm super lucky, and I with VBMP, you know, I would like maybe to give back what I have. You know, I already start with one of my cellists. I introduced her with some Audiophile, and it's and I will continue because I think it is important to have more musicians in this industry, and you know, it's always to give back what you receive. I really believe in that, and for me, when you can share your passion with people, and it's one by one, you build your market one by one by one by one by one. This is what I did. You know, 3,000 of pure cello we sold. That's a lot for classical music. You know,
Oh yeah.
it's a lot for this. You know, in Montreal, I think it's 300 copies, and it's a double album. You know, so plus CDs, plus bon. Alors, for me, that when someone take his money, his labor to build my music to bring back to his place, it's something very important for me, and I will continue because for me it shows that people, they need not Vincent Belanger, me, but they need new music, they need experience, new experience, and this is what I want to do. Maybe I hope it doesn't sound like arrogancy, or I don't want to feel
No.
arrogant.
No. You know, I think as an artist, right, you have to always explore and try to evolve. I think
Oui.
you know, the thing is that like when I hear different artists sometimes, like I'll give you an example, like Ed Sheeran, right? Like I used to love Ed Sheeran, I still do, right? But then like the recent album that he came out with like a year ago, that's when I stopped kind of following him because he went like totally pop, right? And that's kind of not my thing. That's not why I used to listen to Ed Sheeran. But you know, when a lot of people were like flaming him online, I was like, dude, he's exploring. Like he is, you know, look how many Ed Sheeran pieces sound just like the other one, almost, right, with different lyrics. So I think it's all like relative, right? Like you have to explore and you have to, you know, fine tune your craft, right? So I don't think that's an arrogance thing. I think that's more like you are evolving as
Right.
a professional.
And people has to understand that we do it. We also do that for the audience.
Right.
We need an audience.
Yeah.
So we need a fan
You
base.
want the
we need-
excitement going.
Exactly. So it goes both ways. Yes, there's money involved. There's economic things. Blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, you know what? Every times, you know, man. Last year when I was in Maison Symphonique and it was a full house, I was so touched. You know, because we it was the pandemic, so not a lot of people. Then we built a bit more people, and then it was a full house. I was touched about that. It's something that's very. It is important that the audience, despite the money and the producers' problem and whatever, that moment between the artist and the audience, for me, it's like this is the magic. I'm not the magician. The audience, the magic is between the audience, the listener, and the musician. This is
Right.
where the magic is. And it's only there when there's a good it's like a relationship with the audience and the artist. So sometimes the artists want to go somewhere else, and the audience say no, we don't want, and they react. Okay, it's sad. It's sad because for two reasons. Maybe you're like, it's because the artist, again, it's because of producers, they put him too much in the same thing.
Right, like this has got to be popular.
Yes, just to make sure that, but it kills his initiative, his freedom,
Right.
in some ways. So when you want to be more free, to just be something simple like pop music, or maybe more modern. No. Me, I always try to be away of this formula you want to apply, to build. So I did jazz a bit with Anne Bisson. I did my album the album là, there's orchestra, you have wow, it's a disco piece, my music, blah blah blah. You have pure cello, very classical, and it's one. I'm very proud of this. And then you have this les neuf recording, some arrangement, new music with Christian Thomas. And then now it will be Songe. So it's like
so if I were to order the CD or the LP like right now, right?
Yeah, you can go
Let's
on
say a
Kickstarter.
viewer clicks on the link, which you can, by the way, in the description.
Exactly.
You click on it, and then you
choose.
When can I expect my CD or LP to arrive?
I put 1 year. It will be probably 6 months, but I just to make sure I don't want to piss off everyone, because we never know.
So within 1 year, right?
Yes, I want to make sure that the CD it will be. I prefer 1 year because I want to make sure
it's perfect and all that. Right.
Wait. I don't want to go too fast and have we have a deadline and the vinyl will be not good.
Right.
No. So pure cello, it took 2 years because it was new for me.
Right.
It took more than 2 years, ma'am. But for this, for 1 year, I hope, let's say 6 months probably.
And it's gonna be recorded in a church in 30 days.
Exactly, yes, because the recording is very important. As I said, René Laflamme is. He told me, I told him, Vincent, you need a lot of Ave Maria, because if you can do a lot of that, that will be again. So it will be that he do recording. I don't know if I said that before. It's 2 microphones, the old way.
Yeah.
And he's using tape. Yeah. And what is interesting is he's bring his own car batteries because we don't use the electricity of the church. So, and fantastic, René Laflamme is work. He has fancy cables. The microphone, he told me in Toronto. He said, "Oh, Vincent, you will see." It's have you met him, René Laflamme?
No, but I would love to. If he's using a battery pack to power his microphone,
man,
you know what he's doing. He's going above and beyond.
And it will be fantastic. And
how about the mixing and mastering side?
There's no mix because you have 2 microphones.
Okay. So it's wow.
Well,
okay.
This is why. So it's like a natural mixing. So it will be, the challenge will be, because the concert, we have 5 musicians. So the cello is the center of that. The double bass, harp, and I spent all the summer to recompose a lot of things for the harp, for the double bass, for the violin, and I'm so happy. We just finished a complete week of practice, and it's,
who did you say is playing the harp again?
It's Annabelle Renzo.
Oh, okay. Wow.
She's a fantastic harpist. She I think she had this Serenity, a company about relaxing thing. She's a fantastic player. She had this technique from flamenco, from a lot of things in the harp. So she's a virtuose. She's a fantastic. She's a pure virtuose, and she's like me. She can play a lot of things, different colors. Because for some musicians, sometimes it's different. It's difficult to make them play outside their style, I would say. Me, I like to jump, to explore. And it's this double bass, Etienne Lafrance. You saw him on the stage,
right?
He's probably enough. He's a good friend of mine, and
fantastic dude.
He's a brother to me. He's fantastic. Even in my music,
like I've never met him in person. I don't know him personally, but I saw him play, and it was like, wow.
No, Etienne, and he's busy, and he said, "Oh, Vincent, I really want to play with you." So he blocked the recording session, and it's for me. It's yeah, I really appreciate that. Of course, this trust, because he doesn't know my music the first time.
Right.
Imagine, these fantastic musician, and I will show you my music. I composed that, blah blah blah. But they all, I'm so proud because they all play it well, even if it was for some of them because
It's like the Avengers.
Hey?
It's like the Avengers.
Exactly. And voilà. And Véronique Turcotte, she's fantastic. I love her. She's I know her for 30. We studied together at the high school. And
Who are we talking about here?
the violinist,
Oh, the violinist. Yeah.
Véronique Turcotte. Ouais. And I know her for so long. Well, and I like her playing because it's a mix of classical and jazz. Something very sweet. Very intimate, and she improvised very well too. So I'm super happy. Then Amélie Moïse. She's my little bottle of champagne, as I say. Oh, Vincent, blah blah blah. She's the typical funny soprano, crazy soprano. And the story. It's 10 years ago. We were supposed to do a project together, and life sometimes life. We have to do some. We have some obligation, and then we tried with the project to Teddy, what we did in Saskatoon, and again didn't work. And now it works with the new, with the structures and everything. Now it works.
So we have the violinist,
Right.
We have the harpist,
Right.
We have the bass,
Right.
Double bass, right?
Right.
And you.
And soprano,
So and the vocal.
vocal, yeah,
Soprano.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
So are we gonna have like lyrics in these?
No
tracks?
lyrics.
Okay.
I use the soprano as an instrument.
Oh wow, huh? Curious how that's gonna be.
Man, it's just it will be like the Ave Maria.
But this is
it
a
will be-
very interesting combination of instruments, right? Like these are, I mean, that's like 5.
Wait, 5, but it's also I compose a piece for the harp, so it was harp solo. I compose.
Do you guys have? Sorry to interrupt. Do you guys have how the arrangement already is figured out?
Yeah.
Because you're
I
having
did.
only 2 microphones.
Yes. So, but the music is. We will do a lot of practice.
Right.
So we have like 12 hours only for practice. To make sure that when we go to the recording, it's we are ready. But what is good is we have the concert first. So on the Sunday, we have the concert at 3 p.m. And then the concert will be approximately 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour and a half.
This is of the.
Exactly.
Okay.
The 8th and 9th of December of this year.
Oh.
So we do the concert first, and then we listen. Probably they will have
Like,
captation.
can I buy the ticket now?
Yeah. Now I don't know.
Okay, so it's not up yet.
Yes, I think you can. I need to check, but maybe we will put on the Kickstarter, because what is nice.
Where would I
Kickstarter-
go to get the tickets?
I will give you probably the mailing address.
Okay, I'll put it in the description.
Okay.
But where is it being held? Do you guys have the venue yet?
Yeah, it's at yes, because the church. Quebec is famous for the church.
Right.
We have fantastic church, and this one, Saint Benoît de Mirabel, very important.
Is
for
this
me.
where it's being recorded?
Exactly.
So you're
concert
doing the concert.
and recording.
So you're doing the concert where it's being recorded.
Exactly. Because
You need to get me a seat there.
You will VIP. You will be VIP, man.
Jeez. That is
and
insane.
I did a concert in June, and this is how I was in June, and Louis Croteau, the organizer of that, Louis Croteau told me, Vincent, would you be interested to come back maybe in December for a concert? She said, yeah, bloody yes. And the sound, it's amazing. This is why I said, okay, well, we need to do it, that church, because it's the reverb. I think the reverb is perfect, not too big, because comme un tango, for example, the harp is I have a fast thing to do, And if the church there's too much reverb, it's
Right, it
no.
gets smeared. Yeah.
Right. So no, this is fantastic. I may have some for the concert, for example, it will be probably the classic quintet, the cello in the middle and the others beside me. But for the recording, as René told me, we use two microphones, so he may position us a bit differently than the concert to make sure that the stereo and everything is good. That will be challenging.
Yeah, that will be challenging.
Right.
Like, you know, I mean, one thing, I was never a recording engineer, but I've
Right.
helped recording engineers before. And one of the challenges of using two microphones is comb filtering, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, it's doable, but
it's long. It's long because
Yeah.
the musician needs to be very flexible because
Right.
it might. I don't know where we will do the position of everyone. You know.
Now, the question that I have is, so December 8th and 9th.
Sunday, yeah, and Monday it's right.
Okay, so that's like less than a month away. How many seats are gonna be in the church?
Maximum 300.
Oh wow! So it's gonna be like a pretty tight.
It's tight, and it will be it will be full of emotion again.
Awesome.
Yes, but we will be ready, you know, and you know when you have to play as a classical musician, I do a lot of gigs, but I play the same music ever and ever and always, and I love it. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Now that music was never played. You know, a few years ago in the how can I say in the when we did the recording, but we never again. Commentago was never played live in concerts. So I'm now all my music will be not recorded before, but first play in front of the audience, and then we do the recording. I like this experience because it will connect the emotion, because that magic between the audience and the musician, what I was talking about previously, we will create that, and then we do the recording. So you know what I mean. It's now.
I think like this is worth like people like flying out for.
Right.
Like I'll be there, like 100%. Like that's I mean it's a very rare thing to hear live on unamplified music in a church anyways, but at the same time, like being able to hear where it was recorded, that's like, you know,
exactly
once in a lifetime for a lot of audiophiles.
Now when you will receive the vinyl or the master tape, whatever, you can say, it sounded more like this. Oh yes, now it's realistic. But yes, this is why I hope, because let's be fair, let's be honest, audiophile doesn't. It's a minimum of people who goes to live concert. Most of them, you know, when you spend $250,000 in a hi-fi, you don't want to to sit close to someone just coughing all the concert, you know. So I can understand that, but still, nothing replaces live music.
Yeah, and the venue is great because like it's in Montreal, like
you know,
like
good.
Food, you know, all the cafes, you know,
everything is nice. But it's not real Montreal. It's in Mirabel, so it's close to the old
well, I mean, if you're flying out for a week or two, you know, what's stopping you from driving down, right?
We used to have an airport there, but now there's no airport anymore in Mirabel. So, but it's there.
Yeah, I think. I mean, maybe it's because I'm again biased because I live in Toronto, but Toronto was not that bad. But also, like, I feel like Montreal is just I just have a great time every time I'm in Montreal.
Toronto, it's it's like you need to spend time to be acclimate, to feel the city.
You know what I just thought of? People are listening to me like, Jay, you're such a fake ass. You know, having great time in Montreal, you got robbed there. Right? Every time I go to Montreal, there's some shit happening. Right. But you know, despite all that, I'm saying the city is very much enjoyable.
No.
Like, if that stuff happened in Toronto, right? Like, I wouldn't still be able to have a good time. In Montreal, like after that happened, I still went out at 8 and still I was able to wind down because of all the great stuff around. Like there's so many cafes. Like every single time I go to a cafe, I'm already I'm just there to have my morning coffee, but I always end up getting something else and then tasting it and then going, I want to try the other one, right? And they're all unique. So I think for Montreal, I think personally for me, like great dinner spots, but also like the cafes.
Is your mother still there in December?
Yeah, sure, we'll be still here. Yeah, I'll be taking her.
I will make sure that you have the VIP place. I consider that church,
Yeah.
like the sixth musician of this project
Okay.
in some ways.
Well, yeah, it's very important, the venue.
Wait. Because again, it's and René, I think, is one of the he knows me. We worked together for La, for other albums. Even before La, we had this project. So I know him very much since the beginning. And René Laflamme is one of the most interesting sound engineer of our generations because he's always researching, investing in new things. So the 2x HD, it's fantastic when you think about that. And I like him, and when I was talking about my music, I was so excited. So, okay, yes. And what do you think to microphone? And he was thinking, and he's very humble in some ways. For people who met and who know
Usually
him.
the people that know a lot, it tends to be more humble.
But oui, because I think, yes, more. I think you have 2 times. Sometimes you may look arrogant because you reach knowledge, experience, blah, blah, blah. For me, it's something for example, me, I'm not patient now for some type of things. So I may look rude. I'm not perfect, when people know what I think, And but
you're like a very straight bullet.
I can be even.
Well,
this summer,
there's good, people that appreciate honesty. Like it's a good trait.
Of course, when someone lies to me,
yeah,
I'm. They see the dragon, It's like no. It's but despite that, I'm very I'm very loyal to people I work with musicians, with people who help me in times. Like 10 years with Audiophile, there's it means for me. It means a lot.
Yeah.
I hope I will work 10 more years with Audiophile because I love the team and we have a lot of projects with Audiophile. We have a concerto, Peter sponsored a concerto for me. Can you imagine? And you have a new project to do. So it's and probably VBMP will be connected to Audiophile music.
Like Peter gets a lot of hate too. Peter, like Audiophile, he's the CEO of Audiophile. For those that don't know,
exactly.
He gets a lot of like hate for for various different reasons. But at the end of the day, he does support a lot of musicians.
I'm not alone. He sponsored Ed Nashton, a pianist, fantastic pianist. He's a friend of Theodore Curensis. Fantastic conductor. Split Nausea, Split the Atom, and so many others. And of course people doesn't like people who doesn't like Peter Kvartov. It's people who want to have fake relationship with people.
People have opinions on everything.
Of everything, yes.
Right.
And Peter Q has a bullshit detector.
Yeah.
And I saw him, and he's always respectful though. He never rude to people, but sometimes it's like no. It's obvious that there's no future collaboration, with and people can judge what they want. And this is the truth.
Listen, that Tonmeister review, the audio when I reviewed the audio note Tonmeister. Right. And then I did it I was like a little bit hard on the fact that there was like a lot of screws because I was like literally pissed off. Like I was like trying to take off the cover and I take 2 off here, 4 here, and it's like how many was it? Was like 632 or something, like some insane number. So I was a little bit harsh on that side of the review, but and a lot of people told me like, oh, you're fucking done with Audiophile. They're not gonna send you shit.
No.
I met Peter at Expona. He said, I was like, hi Peter, and he was like, nice to meet you, and he was like very polite, and listen, and you guys, his son Daniel, great guy. I met him in Toronto this year.
Yeah.
Met him in Montreal as well. But in Toronto, every single time I see him, he makes a joke out of it, right? He has the cover off, and he's like just for you, like so again, like I think all these things, right? Again, I always say like I'm just a guy on YouTube with an opinion, right? So
what we want is we want an honest opinion
Right.
from people, and if this is, we need to be careful sometimes, because sometimes it's
look, I said some nasty stuff about the screws,
Right.
too many screws, because I was like literally pissed off
Right.
and didn't enjoy that experience. But guess what? There were like 10 comments, saying that they're okay with the screws,
Right.
right? So again, it's not that
No,
I'm,
and I can tell you that when Darko Gregoras,
Right.
he liked your review because he understood. Because yes, the first part of the interview,
Yeah.
the review of the Maestro, yes, you say what you say,
Yeah.
but then you say when you talk on the music and the emotion,
Yeah.
and this is, I liked it. Me personally,
Oh, that
I
was
liked
one of
it
the
because
worst-
It's for me, you follow the road, because as a note, yes, it's a box.
Yeah, but you
you-
have to understand that's one of the toughest reviews for me, because listen, I hated the aesthetic, I hated the screws.
Right.
A lot of times when I get a product in here, right, like it's either I flat out hate it and then they just get sent back, or I like 99% of it and I go like, that's like 1%, that's a con that I see. But with audio note, right, it's like I hated the aesthetics, I hated the screws, right, the general build quality, how it looks, but then I absolutely freaking love the sound. So I was like split right down the middle, right? And so that was a tough review for me.
So imagine.
Yeah.
But and aesthetic, it's and it's okay. Me, I like it. I have no problem, because I just, what I want is to forget the system. Sometimes me, you had the black one, I think.
Yeah. No, I had a
Me, I like.
silver.
Was it the silver one?
Yeah, I had a silver one.
Yeah, I like the silver. And it depends how you put it, but I like things simple. And Peter, the day you will meet him, he will tell you he likes one of the first thing he told me. The first lesson I have to from him is keep it simple. Always, and this is it's the way philosophy. And sometimes he push it. I don't want to.
And again, I think people, in your last video that you were featured on this
Right.
channel, yeah, people were like, saying some, sorry for the lack of, language here, but like saying some dumb shit. Like they're saying stuff like, oh, of course you're gonna say something nice about Audio Note because you're an Audio Note ambassador. I don't think they realize your job as an Audio Note ambassador is a music ambassador. Your job is literally to go to shows to play music.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen you sell Audio Note speakers to someone that walked in. You just play your cello. So you're being supported for playing music at shows, and your love for Audio Note has always been like genuine. That's why as Audio Note, you had a chance to say no. There were other brands that was offered to you along the way, and you kept loyal, and you were like, no, I like Audio Note,
No.
right?
Exactly.
So it's a different kind of, people don't know the full story.
They don't know the story, and it's not about. I found my sound, with Audio Note, I found it, and I like other company. I like other sounds. I can appreciate other company, but me, I stopped my musical project with that. Okay, yes, of course, after 10 years to being so close, of course I'm biased. Of course, when I have my shoe, I know exactly the guy who put the resistors, the capacitors, the wiring. I know the factory. I know them personally. Of course, I'm biased. It's a personal level I have, a personal connection I have with all of them.
Right.
I know the guy who made the speakers. He's a friend of mine.
Right.
I know his son. I know the way he works. Of course.
Right. It's a bias.
Same with the digital part. I've been in Vilnius. I know all the company.
Yeah.
I know all of them. So, and it works with me. I will not go with all the product of Audio Note. Me, I told you, it's the 283 valve. I love the 283. I'm not the market for the 300B, for example. I'm Vindicator all along, but you wasn't super fan of the Vindicator when you had it.
Oh, I
The
liked it,
200B.
but I think the Tonmeister was like amazing.
Me, I prefer, for example, the Vindicator.
Mm-hmm.
For me, for the way I'm listening to the music is the Vindicator, the cable. So I have my dream system of Audionaut. I love all of it. I can appreciate all of them. There's no problem. The Cobra, I'm a big fan of the Cobra, you know. But when it's reached for my system, I know exactly the combination. There's so many products with Audionaut. There's so many products.
One of the things that talking about Audionaut, like the price point is always like the subject of Audionaut being a very high end, high priced gear. And one of the comments that I got that like I was like, the arguments sometimes audiophiles make is that they don't make sense. Like they're like, oh, how many concerts I can go to my favorite artist with the money I would spend on this Audionaut piece. Again, it goes back to it's not the same thing. There's not a concert happening in your room every single day.
No. Right, but people like to say that about Audionaut, but Audionaut is not more expensive than any other brands. Yes, we don't have the first level.
And the price is up there, but
we don't have speakers at $500, for example. We don't.
Yeah.
And Peter, I asked him, say he won't do. There's a sacrifice in music reproduction that Peter is not. He won't do, and I think Daniel won't, and I think they are right.
Yeah, they have a certain level, and they don't want to do anything below. Yeah,
exactly.
I've had that talk with a lot of brands before. Like,
exactly.
I've had this talk with like Burmester. I've had this talk with like Luxman. I've had this talk with like every high-end brand. They're like, well, we have a reputation to uphold, and we don't want to go lower because we have to skimp on parts and we have to skimp on production. We have to literally get it manufactured in a different country sometimes to hit that price point, and they're just not willing to do it.
Exactly.
Like I've talked to like a lot of brands just because I'm like, can we please get this quality for less? Because I'm always pushing for those things.
Of course, because we all dream to make sure that we can democratize the word.
Well, not so much that, but like just because like I want to, before younger people or for people like my age who can't, put that kind of money towards, but it's the majority of people, right? My wish is like every single time I get like a $20,000 amplifier in here and I experience that, I'm like, no, I want this experience for lower, maybe not with all the whistles and bells of, build quality or whatever, but for that kind of money, lower price, sound quality, that's kind of like, what I try to push for. Because that's I know that, it's going to do well because it sounds so good at that price point. If they lower it, bring a lower model that has similar sound quality, I know it's going to do well, and I know people are going to dig it, and more younger people too. But of course, again, there's many products in different price categories, and it's not entirely possible sometimes to make
at the end, Peter Kvartrup, he do what he wants to do with his company.
Right. But the reality is most of the time you get what you pay for.
Peter would say, if you don't like my product, just don't buy it,
He's a very simple guy that way.
It's like, and he's right.
Yeah.
He's right. It's the same. So yes, we would like everybody to buy the same, blah, 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 but it's not going to happen.
No.
It's not going to happen. So it's better to stay coherent. It's better to... and this is, on the note, and it's the same with my musical vision. Yes, I can. How if you do that, you will do how many people?
I think
to me, Vincent, if you do that, you will be famous and rich. Okay.
Yeah. But I think people are often mistaken, right? They're always complaining, but they don't actually talk to the companies. Like I complain. But I talk to the companies directly. I ask them, why can't you do it lower? Why can't you do this? And when you ask these frank questions, and the response that you hear back from these companies, right, is very reasonable, right, and it's fair.
Right.
Like it's not like you're asking like Louis Vuitton, right, why you won't make a $10 purse for the average teenage girl, right? Like there's different products and different price points and different standards, right? I mean, the Audionaut sound quality in itself is, so different. It's a very different sound signature.
And, from the inside of the company, with all the people who works there, the sound engineer, the packaging guy, whoever, it's like me sometimes, Daniel, you organize some private concert for the workers of the company. So I play for all the workers.
But is the
London.
nonprofit in any way related to the audio note ambassador thing that you're doing?
But of course, what I would like is to probably Audio Note Music will have the distribution of the physical format.
Okay.
So we'll make sure that
But they're not in the producer side at all.
no.
Okay.
No. It's no. But it's connected, but not.
But they don't have a control over like the creative aspect.
No.
Okay.
But even without this, Peter Kvartrop give me always the free card. He never say, so he did some suggestion and nice suggestion, and I keep it. But he never, even without VBMP.
So he gives you feedbacks, but he's not
Exactly.
like saying you have to do this.
No, exactly. Never. You see, we should. We have to release the project, but he always he liked La very much, and he liked Pure Cello, and he trust. Peter Kvartrop and me, it's a trust relationship, and same with Daniel and Emily. They will be the new owners of Audio Note.
Yeah, the son and the daughter, right?
The son and daughter. So, and they, for me, some people, it's always, how Audio Note will be after Peter. Of course, Peter is a giant.
Yeah,
it would be fantastic. It would be fantastic. I think Daniel is more sweet. Not more sweet, but he's not like
he's more friendly. He's like he's like more personable.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. He's listening everything.
Yeah,
and he remember any face, and he's I saw him, and we were in Italy, and for any reason the guy was. We had to make him understand what we were about to do, and Daniel explained him everything, and the guy became our best friend after that. But at the beginning, it was this is the power of Daniel. Daniel, any conflict, poof, he closed it.
Yeah, I mean, he was giggling and telling me that he opened up the Tonmeister just for me. I thought that was brilliant. I was like, that's one way of saying I saw your review.
I mean, don't send the equipment if you're not ready to have some critics.
Right.
Me, when I did Pure Cello, there's one critics in Montreal. I didn't want him to say bad thing about me, so I didn't send the project to him. It was my mistake, because bad critics is good. It's always good, because sometimes sometimes it's a connection with the audience, and okay.
Well, right. It's not just about the It's not like I'm saying these things because I want to do something bad to your company. I hate your company.
No,
it's a general feedback, right?
No,
it's like, look,
me, I don't care about the screws and the Tonmeister. Honestly, and it's okay.
I love Daniel's. I love Daniel's solution. Again, I think Daniel's brilliant because by him basically saying, "Hey, look, I opened this up just for you." It's like saying, "Yeah, you can actually use the damn thing without the cover if you want." Right? It's like, you know what? Fair enough. I didn't think of that. Right? Not that I want to do that, but it's a valid point. I think he's brilliant.
No, Daniel, super. I spent a month with him. We've been to UK, Slovakia, and he's very happy of the project Songe, because he's the guy who told me. I remember when I play sometimes my music or etc. I say, you should compose more, Vincent. You should compose. He's just, I don't know. I was 7 years ago, and the first time I met him actually, and he, again, like I said, he gave me confidence, and he's very happy. And I sent him some pictures of the practice, and it's a human connection between Audio Note and Vincent Belanger. So of course, when I'm sharing my experience or I explain about the product, yes, it's this is it. And anyway, we are all biased. The guy who just spent $100,000 in Macintosh. Of course, for him, I don't know, this a piece of shit. he just spent 100,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I come, of course, he won't listen to my experience. Just you're by look, yeah, good. I'm happy you spend this amount of money on your system. I'm happy for you to buy my vinyl and to show that maybe you should have something else, but maybe not. I'm just kidding.
So how long is this Kickstarter up for?
Okay, it's 30 days.
Okay,
now.
so up to the point of the recording.
Yeah, approximately. But the recording is there's no problem. We have everything for the recording. It's really for the marketing and everything, and more than that too.
So why is the Kickstarter only up for 30 days?
For 30 days?
Yeah,
because it's
why not longer? Because you said the CD and the LPs will be delivered in a year time.
Yes, no,
6 months to a year.
It says when you open a Kickstarter, they say, the project with 30 days have more chance to reach there. This is what they say. Well, so the algorithm.
You got to open it for 6 months to a year.
No.
So that
it's only
can
2
keep
months,
buying
maximum
it.
2 months. Because the Kickstarter, how it works is if you reach your goal.
Yeah.
So we ask for 20,000 Canadian dollars. So it's very not a lot of American dollars. It's if we don't go to 20,000, people get their money back.
Okay.
So
it has to reach that first stage.
Yes.
And then it adds another 30 days.
So
something?
exactly. So
Okay.
if we reach the goal, it will be, I think, online for a few days. Also, I mean, even after. But we have to
so you gotta get the flame going.
We have to have to reach the goal.
Okay.
So I hope I can. I want my fan, to say we're here, Vincent. We
So what happens if you don't reach the goal within the 30 days?
Yeah, they keep the money.
Yeah, but what happens to recording?
But we do the recording, but it will be just the marketing will be a bit. We will have to find another way.
I see.
It will be because what is nice if we can contact all my fans, and I know I have a few of them. If that will help in terms of marketing, even to build a company, attract sponsors, blah blah blah. You know how it works. So
right.
What in this industry, what the sponsor are looking for? How many people can you reach in the concert hall?
Yeah, you need a demand.
Exactly. How many? It's the same thing as followers.
There's the proof of demand.
Exactly.
Right.
This is what I honestly, this is what I'm.
I think out of all the music projects, right? Like this is pretty important.
Right. So it's I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a musician. So what we need is a fan base.
Right.
So this is the equivalent of followers.
Well, good news is that a lot of people that watch, like when I show off my signed CD and LPs from you, they're like very, very enthusiastic about it. They're like, this is the best recording I've ever played, and I've been playing for 60 years or whatever. and I'm serious. I get those comments. I'm like very genuinely surprised because there's a lot of audiophiles that haven't been exposed to your music, and it's like a catnip, like it's an audiophile catnip. You play it once and there's no going back. It sounds like it's an amazing thing, right? And again, you don't have to like classical music.
No.
This is like Rupture. Like that's something
I think people
gets audiophiles excited.
They even when I play it live, people like they understand. I don't like to classify myself as a classical musician. I'm a musician. I'm a cellist. I'm Vincent Belanger, I would say, because I compose in Songe. There's a solo for harp, a solo for the soprano, and I want to have this soprano without any accompaniment in the beautiful church. I like solo piece, for violin or for whatever. And there's of course a Rupture that will be. Play. So there's 3 solo in the project, and the rest is chambers music 4, 5. 5 piece with the singer plus the solo, so 6, and the rest is a quartet, and voila.
Wow, well, awesome. Well, thank you for coming in to talk about your
it's nice.
new
I like
journey,
it.
and yeah, I mean, when I first heard about it at the Toronto Audio Fest, I knew we had to do this sooner or later. So he just drove all the way from Montreal just to do this. So big props to you. Thank you for coming. And you know, make sure to sign up on that Kickstarter.
No. It's I need them. I need I need all of them. They won't regret it, and I will put some updates also. We have some video of the practice of last week, so I will put some updates on the Kickstarter. It's a very proactive thing, I like it.
Yeah.
And for us, there's a lot of possibility. You have the digital files, the CD, the vinyl. It will be 45 RPM. If people asking, it's double 45 RPM. It's my signature. I'm not doing.
And also the concert that's happening at the church, where it's being recorded on the December 8th and 9th.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'll link that in the description below as well if you want to go to that concert, if the seats are still available, because I'm gonna be taking like 3 seats. But anyways, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you.